What's happening, everybody? It's your boy Leo, and welcome to the bird section. Oh, well, here we are. We're 2 days out from game week 2 with the Kansas City Chiefs, and things are starting to heat up a bit. Last night we got just a real quick recap. Last night we got to see our division rivals, the Washington Commanders, get beat by the Green Bay Packers. Now here's the thing. You know, um, I've been saying this, since the offseason, actually, since the NFC Championship game, to be honest with you, that, I was predicting somewhat of a sophomore slump for Jaden Daniels because I figured, all NFL teams need is just a season's worth of film on a quarterback, and they can make adjustments and figure out, you know, ways in which they could attack him and predicting the sophomore slump, and we saw that last night. We saw a lot of that last night. I mean, Jaden Daniels wasn't looking like the Jaden Daniels from last year, all that ripping and running around and getting away with it, and it wasn't happening. The Green Bay pass rush was just relentless, man. They stayed on his ass. You know, Unfortunately, the Packers did lose their starting wide receiver to a broken collarbone and Jaden Reed, and they don't expect him to be back until sometime in November, probably just in time to play us. So we'll see. But they definitely look good, and I'm talking about this only because. Again, not only are we playing the Commanders twice, but we're also going to have to play the Green Bay Packers more likely twice as well. And so there was a reason why I was particularly interested in that game because I was looking at, two teams that I know we're going to face more than one time probably. That being said, moving on to week 2 with the Kansas City Chiefs, you know, um, they're still holding out hope that wide receiver Xavier Worthy, is going to be available to play this weekend. And if he does, he's probably going to have some sort of a special harness or something. I don't know. I can't imagine, if it would be any help. I mean, my man, messed up my man's shoulder, I think is really hurt, and so, we'll see, if all that speed, I mean, hey, you jam him on the line and he may not be capable of being able to catch a ball. So I don't know. Um, I've already gone on record to let folks know that I think that, you know, um, the Kansas City fans were, pretty upset that, Jalen Carter didn't get a bigger fine than what he got. They wanted more, they wanted multiple game suspensions. And so, they're still crying a bit foul on that, and it's only because they genuinely don't want to see this dude, like it's crazy right now. And here's the other thing too. I think that team has they've got they got to exercise some demons. There are guys on that team who are looking to, get a bad taste in their mouth from the last time they played us, which was 7 months ago in the Super Bowl, and the Eagles pass rush and defense just beat the shit out of Patrick Mahomes, and so they're it left a long lasting taste. And to be honest with you, I'm realizing that a lot of these people have not had an opportunity to actually. They just now recently are going over the game film from the Super Bowl, which it tells you to what degree losing that Super Bowl actually hurt them. Um, and so I think they're just gonna, they've been studying that film, of course our week 1 film, so we gave them some good nuggets to look to get past to get at us. Not sure. I think Lander Dickinson may be playing. I'm just waiting to find out if that's going to be the case. If not, Brett Toth will probably get the start. He played the last 11 offensive snaps of the game when he came in for Landon Dickerson, and I think he held up pretty well. Like right now, the big question is our offensive line going to be able to hold up against Steve Spagnuolo led defensive scheme? Spags is, he was one of us, I think, and so He's a great, defensive coordinator. I can't imagine, with Spags as their defensive coordinator, that we're going to see a repeat of the Super Bowl dominance of our offensive weaponry over their defensive scheme. So we'll see. Spags has always got something dialed up. He knows exactly where to attack us. I know he knows exactly where our weak spots are, and he's going to attack those things. And so, it's going to be up to Kevin Patullo, who in week one left a lot to be desired in terms of the pass calling and balanced attack. Because we cannot have another game where AJ Brown is only targeted one time the whole game, and Devontae Smith only gets like 3 targets with 3 catches. So it's just things to work out. Again, that was week one. And again, I think the Kansas City Chiefs fan base is, they're smelling the end, and so is the team. And right now they're weakened, and when a team like the Kansas City Chiefs is in this type of position, it actually makes them more dangerous, and so we have to take this game, as seriously as we took the Super Bowl. We know that the Kansas City Chiefs are going to give us their best shot possible, and so we just have to be prepared. I'm sure that the one thing that the Eagles will look to do is to establish dominance with the run game, particularly since Spags did such a good job with taking Saquon out of the picture. But we're coming back with not just Saquon, but we also have AJ Dillon and Tank Bigsby, and then of course Devontae, AJ, and we don't know if Dallas Goddard is going to be playing. If he doesn't play, then you can best believe Grant Calcaterra will probably get the start, and he's subbed in. He's done a good job when called upon, and so I would, if Dallas doesn't get if Dallas Goddard isn't a go, then I would imagine you're going to see a lot of Grant Calcaterra out there on the field, and he may get targeted just a few times, a lot less than what Dallas would get targeted, but he has done well when we've asked when his number has been called. So, his ability to pass block, and give Jalen that time, that's something else that, I would imagine a Steve Spagnuolo defense is going to really look to exploit. You know, and then, getting, again, Devontae and AJ the ball as well, and getting them involved in the offense. And so I think they're going to see a lot of that. I'm not entirely clear as to what, Kansas City's secondary is going to look like, but I would imagine that, whoever their secondary is, I'll take my wide receiver group over their secondary any day. And so, as you can tell from the Super Bowl, so that's where I'm at with it all. You know, um, you know, uh, uh, on the injury front, I told you about Lander Dickerson. Um, Tanner McKee is not going to be a go. Dallas may or may not be a go. If he has to be held back, it'll probably be, for a few weeks because of his knee. Um, and then, and did I say Tanner McKee? Oh, and Will Shipley with the rib injury, so he's not going to suit up. And just so all of you know, we'll be in the all white uniforms, going into Arrowhead. So, those of you who are who want to know what uniform we're wearing, it is definitely the all white away game, away uniforms. I wonder if they're going to have the white helmets too as well. I think, but I'm not sure. So it's going to be a new look. It's going to be a look that we hadn't seen yet from them, and I'm kind of interested in seeing what that look is going to be like. Um, and then I told you about the fan base. They're it's whatever. Look, and if you haven't done so already, please hit the like and subscribe button, hook your boy up. I'm trying to get what numbers I'm trying to get. The goal is to get to 10,000 before the end of the season, or at least by the end of the season. Thinking about a few other things that I'll probably make a few announcements in the coming weeks. So stay tuned for that. Just to give folks a reason to tune in. Remember, this is the bird section, and all are welcome. Brick talk your shit, and I will be seeing y'all later on tonight. I'm gonna go live just so we could talk a few things. I want to get hear from the people. All right. And with that, I'll say I'll see y'all later. And again, see you with the bird section later on tonight. Oh, peace.